My last video was all about menstrual cups and how it's not possible for everyone with a chronic illness or a disability to use a menstrual cup. So I thought to share some alternatives that are also eco-friendly and help us maintain our menstrual hygiene. If you've missed my last video, then I'll link that. And a bit of a warning. I have gone into details as in this video, as in price, washing instructions, how long each product lasts, what they're made of. So if you wish to skip certain parts, then please refer to the timestamps because I've gone into some detail. So the timestamps should help you skip parts that you don't want to listen to. Okay, now for anyone with a chronic condition using a menstrual product, there is only one thing that's most important: using products that don't cause further harm to their health. So the options I'm going to speak about today should be better alternatives, not just for the environment, but should hopefully save you or reduce irritations and rashes that come with chemical-based options. But please remember, I'm not a medical professional, and if you are battling any health issues, or even if you are not, it's always best to check with your doctor for what might be better for your body. Your body, the products you choose are solely your responsibility. I'm just presenting you with the options as I know them. Now, these options are in no particular order of preference, so don't think that way. Option number 1, period underwear. So what is period underwear? Period underwear is a washable and a reusable underwear made to be worn during your periods. Now, how much blood can a period underwear hold? So the most absorbent period underwear is expected to absorb around 4 tampons worth of blood, but all this varies based on the brands you use. You can get lower absorbing underwear for lighter days as well. Very important question. What is a period underwear usually made of? Now, each company has their own patented formula going on, but in general, depending on the level of absorbency, a period underwear is made out of organic cotton, polyester, elastane, and polyester microfiber terry, which are easy to wash with your regular clothes in the washing machine. They are also free of harmful chemicals. That's what's advertised. So how often should a period underwear be changed? Based on your flow and looking at hygiene, you should get through at least 2 period underwears in 24 hours. Now, how many years can a period underwear last? So a period underwear can last up to 2 years. So that answers that. Now, looking at the cost, an important factor, how much does a period underwear cost? The cost is completely based on the brand you choose and the country you live in, which is why the cost of one period underwear can vary from $5 to $42. These prices are just a guide and include the least absorbent to the most absorbent underwear. Option number 2, organic and biodegradable sanitary pads. Now, what are organic and biodegradable sanitary pads? So these sanitary pads are exactly that. They're organic and biodegradable sanitary pads. But other than them being so, they're also better for sensitive skin and for those who are easily susceptible to issues from bleach and the various chemicals found in plastics that are used in regular sanitary pads. So what are organic and biodegradable sanitary pads made of? Now again, depending on the brand, organic and biodegradable sanitary pads are usually made of organic cotton, bamboo fiber, and even cornstarch. Now, I think a bit of additional information is required here. I feel it's good to know when we use a regular pad, we are exposing a very intimate and sensitive area to various plastics, which are covered in dioxin, petrochemicals, GMO, and fragrances. So I'm going to give you a bit more detailed but important information on what dioxins are, and I'm quoting technicaltextile.net, and I quote, "Dioxins are carcinogenic in nature, hence the risk of cancer increases even at very low levels of exposure. Additives such as fragrances, deodorants, absorbency agents, urea, and formaldehyde enhance the properties but can cause allergies and skin reactions. Unquote. Therefore, when these sanitary pads are incinerated after use by waste management companies, the toxicity of these chemicals are also released into the environment. Now, another important question. I think we're done with the previous thing. Okay, but another important question is, are there various sizes of these organic and biodegradable sanitary pads? Yes. Just like regular sanitary pads, where you find various sizes based on flow, the same options are available for organic and biodegradable sanitary pads. But we must remember that because they are organic and made of natural fibers, these fibers can break up inside the pad because they're not bound by plastics or other chemicals. But that only happens when you've worn the pad way too long. Now, through personal experience, depending on the brand, the XL size pads last easily through the night. So back to answering the question, yes, there are various sizes from regular large to extra large. Now, how often should you change your organic biodegradable sanitary pad? Just as you would with your regular sanitary pad, you should change your organic sanitary pad every 3 to 6 hours or even sooner based on your flow and comfort. Now, there is a super important question which we're rarely guided on, and which I'm going to try and answer, is how do you dispose an organic and biodegradable sanitary pad so it's better for the environment? I live in a city where waste is segregated into 3 bins: compostable, such as food waste, recyclable waste, and toxic waste. Waste that can't be composted and recycled is the toxic waste. I use an organic and biodegradable sanitary pad, and I have 2 options. I can either wrap up the sanitary pad in a newspaper, or I can put it in a compostable bag, and that's what I do. If you compost at home, please remember that all biodegradable sanitary pads require the right compostable environment for it to biodegrade, which can be tough to replicate at home in a home composting setup because it could take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years to compost. Whereas regular pads with plastic can take up to 500 years. Otherwise, keeping the home compostable procedure aside, you can either get in touch with your local council on waste segregation or dispose as you do. I leave you to find answers to this question based on how things work in your city. Also, again, cost. How much do organic and biodegradable sanitary pads cost? The cost of organic pads vary based, again, on brand, size, pad, and the quantity of pads in the packet. But in general, the cost can be anywhere from 20 cents to 70 cents per pad. Just as a comparison, a regular pad that has chemicals in it can cost anywhere from 6 cents to 40 cents per pad. Now, option number 3, reusable sanitary pads. What are reusable sanitary pads made of, and what are they? So, made from either organic cotton, hemp, or bamboo, reusable sanitary pads are just that. Sanitary pads that can be washed and reused, just as you would the period underwear that I was speaking of earlier. They are shaped like a pad with wings, except the wings are made of the same cotton fabric, but instead of them sticking when you wrap around the bottom of the underwear, they have a snap or a clip button instead. So you just clip them to each other in place. There is no use or any form of plastic here. In fact, some organizations that make these use coconut shells for their snap buttons. So do reusable sanitary pads come in various sizes? Yes, various sizes are available. Anywhere from regular size to extra large ones that are great for nighttime or heavier days. Nighttime reusable pads have more layers of cotton, making them more absorbent than the regular sized pads. So how often should you change a reusable sanitary pad? Ideally, you should change your pad every 4 to 6 hours, but all this depends on your flow. So on heavier days, this may be more often. A super important question for reusable sanitary pads: how do you wash them? Well, it is recommended that you soak the sanitary pad with the soiled part face down in cold water for 30 minutes. Hot water will cause staining. If you're going to wash by hand, then all you need to do is rub gently. Do not use a harsh brush. You can also put them in the washing machine around 40 degrees centigrade, but not warmer than that. If there is a PUL layer in your reusable sanitary pad, then using a fabric softener isn't allowed, as this will damage that layer. When you're about to dry, you will need to pull the pad back into shape and air dry. Now don't forget, after buying a reusable sanitary pad, you should wash it before using it for the first time. Also remember, each company has their own do's and don'ts based on the materials they use. Please read the instructions carefully so that your pads last. Now, how many years do reusable sanitary pads last? Now, reusable sanitary pads last anywhere from 3 to 5 years based on the usage. So anywhere from 75 to 100 washes. In case you're wondering where I've got most of this information from, I've got most of my information from Ecofem. It's a women-led social enterprise based in India that makes reusable sanitary pads. And there's some interesting information in their FAQ section, and I'm just going to quote a part of their FAQ. So I'll quote now. We have observed to increase the absorbency of new pads, wash them 2 to 3 times with soap, soak them overnight or machine wash, and it will help so the liquid gets absorbed into the inner layer of the pad. Initial shrinkage is also normal to natural cotton material in the first few washes. We have added a few centimeters to each new pad to compensate for this. So, how do you dispose reusable sanitary pads? You will find that your pad is made up of multiple layers of cotton, hemp, and bamboo. Obviously, materials depend on the pad you choose to use. These layers will need to be pulled apart, of which the cotton, hemp, and bamboo can be composted. The cotton can also be recycled. If your pad has a PUL layer, then that can go in for recycling as well. And how much do they cost? Reusable sanitary pads cost anywhere from $1 to $4 per pad. This is again based on the size of the pad, the materials used, and the country you're ordering from. Option number 4, organic and biodegradable tampons. Now, what are organic and biodegradable tampons, and what are they made of? So, tampons, as we know, are inserted into the vagina to absorb menstruation. But regular tampons, just like sanitary pads, are treated with bleaches, pesticides found in non-organic cottons, dyes. Plus, tampons are sold with plastic applicators. Although cardboard applicators are also an option, but you're adding more plastic into the waste management system. Organic and biodegradable tampons are made of organic cotton, free of fragrances, SAPs, which are super absorbent polymers, dyes, plastics, and even latex. Now, important question. Do organic and biodegradable tampons eliminate the risk of toxic shock syndrome, TSS? Unfortunately, it does not. TSS happens when super absorbent tampons are used, and I quote from WebMD, and I quote them. Caused by the release of toxins from an overgrowth of bacteria called Staphylococcus aureus, or staph, which is found in many women's bodies. Toxic shock syndrome affects menstruating women, especially those who use super absorbent tampons, unquote. I apologize if I have made a mistake in the pronunciation. It's a little too complicated for me. So this means that we should use tampons that are required for the current flow. Now, do these tampons, these organic tampons, have various capacities? Yes. There are various sizes, such as light, medium, regular, and super, also super plus. These need to be chosen based on your flow of that day. If you are a first-time tampon user, it is best to start with the smallest size in order to understand your flow, because using an absorbency that is too strong for your flow may lead to toxic shock syndrome. This leads me to my next question. How often should you change an organic and biodegradable tampon? Well, you should change your tampon every 4 to 8 hours unless instructed otherwise by the brand you choose to buy from, which is why reading all the instructions is absolutely necessary. How do you dispose of them? Now, organic and biodegradable tampons can be composted and their packaging should be put in for recycling. Now, as I was explaining with the organic sanitary pads earlier, you can wrap the tampon in newspaper or use a compostable bag to wrap it in if you're not the one composting yourself. For more details, I would suggest to watch what I said about how do you dispose an organic and biodegradable sanitary pad. So the timestamp is in the description box in case you've missed watching it. So best to just watch that part a bit earlier. And how much do organic and biodegradable tampons cost? Now, the cost of an organic tampon will depend on the country you are based in, the brand and the size of the tampon chosen, but on average, an organic tampon can range anywhere from 30 cents to 60 cents. And now we're done, I think, here. But I want to just end by saying the point of going into such depth with these 4 options was to explain that those with chronic conditions or disabilities do have alternate options to a menstrual cup that are not just good for the environment, but also healthier for the body. And that's what's most important. Okay, I am all done. If you wish to share your thoughts on this video, then please do leave a comment in the comment section below, and please do like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching and supporting. Bye-bye.